Thank you guys for checking out the From the Bench podcast. I'm your host, Eric Murray. And with me is Trevor Ward.
Shaking y'all.
And if you guys don't know, we've been obviously getting quite a few more listens lately, which is great to hear. But we're two guys from the East Coast of Canada. We're from New Brunswick, and we like talking about sports, whether it's hockey or football. It's a passion of ours. And Trevor is a big New England Patriots fan.
Huge.
He's also a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Huge.
And then we're both Blue Jays and Raptors fans. That's kind of for basketball and baseball. Those are our teams.
Because Vancouver caved when it came to basketball, which is mind-boggling if you think about it. You think, I always thought there'd be another team there by now, but we're back there again. But no dice. Not yet anyways.
Seattle has to get a team back before Vancouver ever would think about it. But
are you hearing the noise about KC and Patrick Mahomes like vowing for Toronto to come down there?
I know.
Play this year? Hopefully that doesn't happen, because hopefully we can open stuff up to the teams. Or I don't know. That's just wishful thinking on my part, but who knows? Better safe than sorry, I guess.
Yep, better safe than sorry is right. So and then myself, I'm a big LA Chargers fan. I know it doesn't make any sense. I think I'm one of the only LA Charger fans around, especially our neck of the woods, but that's what I decided to go with many moons ago.
That's how the cookie crumbled.
Yep, and it crumbled. And then on the hockey side of things, I'm a big Colorado Avalanche fan. Have been since I was a kid. So, since '95, since pretty much they came in, I always liked goalies and stuff. Well before
Patrick Waugh
even started playing goalie myself. So Patrick Waugh was the obvious choice.
He left Montreal.
Yeah, once he left Montreal, it was easy to. I was when I was 7 years old when Colorado finally made their
Joe Sakic.
So at 7 years old, I think I was at the right age to really start picking a hockey team. So luckily, I didn't pick Montreal or Toronto or any of these other garbage teams. Adam Foote was.
What are you calling garbage teams? What's wrong with you?
Hey,
did you see TSN? On TSN, Butler picked out of the Canadian teams. He had Montreal at number 1. I was like, are you kidding me, man? Butler had Craig Button, had literally Montreal after their moves and stuff at number 1. Not a chance. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that sounds kind of odd.
That's absolute garbage.
I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but
not to me.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. Yeah, so we're gonna keep on going. So we touch on, if you guys haven't listened to us before, first off, we're gonna talk about some NHL signings. Usually we start off with whatever sport is in the off season or might be in the downtime type of thing. So obviously right now NHL, they're not actually playing. So we'll talk on that first. Later on, we'll get into actual football. So we'll get into recapping the Patriots game, recapping the Chargers game. And then we got to talk about a couple other things. Another game we were going to highlight. And then we're going to talk about a couple teams that might want to look at not quite hitting the reset button, but maybe that retool button right beside it. They might want to look at doing that. And then
regain some assets.
Yeah. And then we get into our week 8. Yes, I said it. Week 8. I don't know how it flew by so fast already, but we'll give our predictions on week 8 and who we think is going to be the winners and the losers. So to start it all off, though, NHL signings, the first real big one, it's a 1-year deal for Sam Reinhart. He gets 1 year, $5.2 million to stay in Buffalo.
He's restricted, I think, still, I know he is.
I think, yeah.
Well, that's Well, it's good for him. I wish, he doesn't deserve more. He's played since he was 18, I'm pretty sure, with Buffalo, since he was taken first overall or first or second or third right there, but in the first round. Good for him. He's a solid two-way winger. He's pretty good point-wise. He can score, and he could also serve up a dish for me to snipe one far down. But he's an all-around good player. I don't think his quality of player shows up in Buffalo. A lot of people go there to die, they don't just work out. But he's been able to produce, especially with Reichel. They're good teammates and they work good together. So it's keeping him around is great, and especially what they've done there this offseason. So another solid signing.
Yeah, and it's a low risk. See what they can get out of him. he's done really well ever since he came in. So he was picked second overall. I think that was the Aaron Ekblad draft where Florida took Ekblad first. So ever since he came in, 2014, 2015, he only played 9 games, and he went back to the WHL, played for the Kootenay Ice, and then he also played a couple games for Rochester, and then it was straight up to the big leagues again. Next year, he played 79 games, put up 42 points, 47 points, 50 points, 65 points, and then he took a little regression last year on the assist totals. Same amount of goals. He's usually right around 20 goals. Second year, he had 17 goals, but it's been 23, 17, 25, 22, 22. His assist numbers have gone up and down, probably depending on who he plays with. He's kind of been, and this is kind of Buffalo in general, right? But, usually his plus minus is in the minus. So -8, -11, -24, -10, -15.
All to do with who he's playing for.
Yeah, that's more of a Buffalo issue rather than a Sam Reinhart issue, I think. So, yeah, like I said, he's a good young guy, 5.3. If you can get a guy, or 5.2, if you're getting a guy for $5.2 million a year and he can put up 50 to 60 points for you, that's a pretty good paycheck.
That's a bargain.
That's a pretty good bargain for that
Works
guy.
out.
Especially when he's that young, right? He's still only 24 years old. I think this would be his last year of being
Just
an RFA.
approaching his prime.
Yeah, so I think them signing him to a 1-year deal, that means they keep his rights next year, I think, and then go on from there. So another one that was a 1-year deal, Trevor just told me about this one, is one Mr. Tyler Bertuzzi. He stays in Detroit. He gets $3.5 million for the 1 year. So
thought he would have got a little bit more personally. I love his game, though. He's got a little bit of grit to his game. He's got a lot of grit to his game. He gets in there in the forecheck, goes to the front of the net. He doesn't score the prettiest goals, but he just gets it done. He's a guy you want to have around. He's definitely good for the team. He's just a great player. I love it.
He's got that typical hockey smile, too, with like one tooth just hanging out the front of it.
Got the hair flow. Like, he's just a beauty.
And so the last 2 years, he's put up 47 and 48 points. So those are, nothing to shake a stick at. That's what you want. And that's probably a lot more points than some people think, right? A guy pretty much right there on the edge of.
And that's a Detroit team, too, with not a lot of great talent, like not a lot of great skill. They're kind of building that up right now. So there's a lot of grinders. So you gotta that kind of reflects, I think, a little bit with a little bit more skilled players. I think his numbers get a little bit of a boost. You get 4 or 5 apples that maybe he doesn't get with the team they have right now. You know what I mean? Just inflate the numbers just a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
And so he's put up 21 goals in both seasons, 26 assists 2 years ago and 27 last year. So his penalty minutes, 36, 40. Obviously last year, like I said, him along with a lot of people over in Detroit, they had a really bad year. Like, I think it was like,
this is like the worst they've ever been.
Yeah, and some people say, oh, like, why would somebody want to go? I seen somebody on social media not long ago, and they were talking about, why would you ever want to go play for that garbage organization? And it was like, I understand, there's fans. Like, I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan. I hate the Detroit Red Wings. It's like built into me. It's just through the 90s,
rivalry. Oh, for sure.
2000s, right? Like, that's what it was.
So do I. Like, I always hated them too, but because they were so dominant.
You got to understand that literally the Detroit Red Wings didn't miss the playoffs for like 30 years.
They're far from garbage. What happened was bad contracts signed there for long term, and this is repercussions of it. And trading away draft picks also caught up with them. So this is just, so now it's 2 or 3 years down the road to clean up, to lose some of these bad contracts, let some of these guys walk out, rebuild their assets, and retool, and away they go. That's how it works. It's a slow process. In the new NHL, you really need to try to keep your first round and second round picks. If you do trade them here and there, you can't do it every year or every second year or something, because it just catches up to you in the long run. It really does, especially in the salary cap era. You only have so much money to play with. So
it's one of those things I've never really understood. Pittsburgh has done it for so long. They've traded away so many high-end draft picks, and I understand why. Is because you're trying to get every little bit you can out of that Sidney Crosby and Malkin, and keep those guys happy and keep that run going. But man, it just seems like how many draft picks can you trade away? High-end draft picks, and yeah. But
2 or 3 trades every year. He's really good for Jim
Rutherford.
Yep.
I was never a big fan of him. I think he kind of caught lightning in a bottle trading for Phil, but
worked out though.
He had some
right. That's all that matters. That's what they remember you for. So.
Oh, I remember, but I'm just saying, like, he was bad when it came to some stuff he did over there in Carolina before he came over to Pittsburgh, and even the start of his tenure over in Pittsburgh, it wasn't great. I think he got a little lucky. Let's just put it that way. But that's half.
But I think that's part of it, right?
Luck. Exactly.
I would agree with that, though. He did get a little bit lucky, but
yeah. So the other signing, and this is for my Colorado Avalanche, they just recently acquired Devin Taves, who is a 26-year-old defenseman from the New York Islanders, and they traded 2 seconds for him. Obviously, they really like this guy. He didn't work into Islanders' big plan, but so in the last 2 years is the only 2 years he's played in the NHL. Not really, your scoring defenseman, but he put up 18 points and 28 points. He is like a +7, +1. That's also playing in that Islanders system,
Metropolitan.
right? So you're playing,
and that's a tough division.
That system, you're gonna, that's gonna mean good things for you. But yeah, so that's. I'm excited as a Colorado fan. I was excited that it wasn't too much because, like I've said before, Cale Makar is going to get paid.
He got good dollars,
big money. Yeah, he got 4. So he gets 4 years, $4.1 million to stay in Colorado. I said for Joe Sakic to pay a guy
for 4 years. That's
for
huge.
4 years before he even hits the ice for us. That's a big
vote of confidence.
Yeah, so you can tell he really liked this guy. Has a lot of faith in the trade he made, and you have to, right? If you're going to give up 2 second-round picks, that's a lot in this day and age. Like we just mentioned, with the salary cap area, you have to hit on so many of these draft picks.
But I'd rather 2 seconds than a first.
Yeah.
So I think in that part, you guys come ahead, but I also think you guys win in the salary.
The only thing
for
about
sure.
the first is if the team tanks, right? You look at, the year that Colorado gets a first back from Ottawa, and all of a sudden that ends up being Bowen Byram one. That was, the chance of being first overall, though, right? They were that bad. It was the same as San Jose. San Jose was terrible this year.
It happens.
And Ottawa got a first out of them for Erik Karlsson. And all of a sudden, bam, here, because of injuries and other, issues and whatnot, they get a top 5 pick out of it too, right? So sometimes you get lucky when you're trading for a first round pick.
And that's part of it.
They could get a late round pick. Yeah, so it is what it is. We're going to move on, though. Like I said, that was pretty much it for the NHL. There hasn't been a whole lot going on. That's just the dog days of summer, right?
Got quiet, and we're still waiting on a couple big free agents to sign, but they're sniffing
wait on
around.
Mike Hoffman and
exactly.
a couple of those guys, right? So see what they
Was it Halla? Eric Halla?
Eric Halla, I think,
still
too.
out there.
There's a few of them.
Those are just the guys off the top of our head that we're kind of anxiously waiting to see what they do and where they go.
Yeah, and just wait to find out when the NHL, I think, they want to do more of a January 1st type of start date.
At least
for the
training
season.
camp, I believe, eh?
Yeah, but
They
they haven't come out and said a whole lot about that either. A lot of these teams, they really need that revenue from getting people in the seats. So the longer they put it off, the better.
And another one I'm just going to throw out there for you listeners. I'm anxiously awaiting for the NBA draft and looking forward to the signing period there for free agents because the Raptors basically whole starting lineups are all available out on the open market. So I'm very interested to see what can you chime in there? What's his name? Masai? There it is.
Masai.
Jeez. Sorry, Masai. That's my bad.
Masai Ujiri. Yeah.
Trevor's never good with names, but he really fumbled the ball right there. That's a turnover. That's a legal procedure. Okay, getting back on my point.
That's a minus one out of the gate. So.
I'm just yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's not good.
Regroup. Here we go.
Yeah, just over the boards, one leg over the boards. -1.
You just get out there. You haven't even hit the
bar down.
You haven't even hit the blue line yet, and all of a sudden you're like, it's in the back of your net. You're like, That's me playing NHL right now. Every time I'm playing to be a pro, I get on the ice, and all of a sudden I'm back checking somebody on a rush going the other way, and all of a sudden they score, and I'm like,
Eric's guy definitely every time.
I'm trying. I'm not even close to this guy.
Just a goal scorer, just out there floating around. Pass it to me. I'm at the other team's blue line.
Hey, I got it on the hardest setting and be a pro, and I'm leading the league in points.
Just an old school Russian out there, just floating around. Okay. If there are any Russian listeners, I'm just kidding.
Looking like Kovalev.
Anyways, but I'm super. I just want to see what he does and what we do. I hope to goodness they bring back Fred. Hopefully, we don't have to pay him up the yin yang. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'd love to see Ibaka come back on a 1-year deal too, just because I think he's just so dominant for us. We're going to lose Mark. I think Mark, I don't know what's going on with Mark. Rumors that he wants to stay home.
No, he went back to Spain.
So that's official?
Yeah.
Anyways, I kind of hope they bring the other two back, but we'll see what goes on. So I'm pumped to see what they do. Hopefully they don't get too excited. We've done a really good job the Raptors in drafting and then finding talent and making them work in our system. You know, in Asai, I trust, and in Nick Nurse, he's doing a hell of a job. Won Coach of the Year this year. So I'm excited about that. But getting on, let's talk about the foosball. We into the foosball now,
So once
Eric?
again, like I said, once in a while, I let Trevor take the reins of this, and that's what happens. He goes all off tangent. And
Off script.
Gets into,
Just to chime, Eric. You know, just to grind his gears.
just like I said, we are a sports podcast in general. Doesn't matter if it's hockey or football or basketball.
You must be excited too, though, to see what direction
Yes,
they go, right?
I'm 100% excited.
Good.
So to keep it on football, now since we let Trevor go off the rails a little bit, I'm going to grab that knife and twist a little more. Trevor, did you watch the Patriots game on Sunday?
Every down, buddy.
And what did you think?
Every snap. Well, I think that we had a full week of practice, and I think our offense looked worse than it did against the Denver Broncos. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. They're just the timing's off. I don't totally agree. Like, and we actually got 2 of our offensive linemen back, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, our adjustments, we adjusted our defense a little bit, but then it still wasn't good. Like, they were able to run all over us. They were able to do basically San Francisco or did whatever they wanted on us, but they ran all over us. It was just not pretty. It reflected in the score. It was 33-6. But what I was happy about is they didn't give up. Nobody threw the towel in. That's like a classic Bill Belichick team. So I'm interested to see where we go from here. Like, nobody saw us losing to Denver, and then I didn't think we'd lay a goose egg. And this is the first time since 2020 or 2002 that we have dropped 3 games in a row. So, you know, Tommy's not there, and they're going on about the supporting cast. I do believe there's some weapons there, and we just need to rethink how we're using everybody, our personnel and stuff. I think we should see more of 2-8, James White. I'd love to see, we got a lot of, I'd say, well, I'm kind of biased, but we got a lot of good running backs there. Why not have 2 on this field at the same time? That's just my feeling. I love that. If you got multiple backs that are good, why not have both of them in the backfield, you know, like splitting your quarterback? I just think you see a lot in college. You put your best players on the field for the majority of the snaps. We're banged up. I love the effort. Our offense was horrible. I'm not quite sure. Like, personally, I almost wish they would have left Cam in there. You know, let's work through some of this. But, you know, at the same time, well, the game was out of reach by then, so they're just getting the young fella Stidham some work. But I think that's, as you can see, he still needs some work. He's still trying to force the ball in places and stuff, and he's got to remember it's not college. But, you know, I think maybe, you know, he gets a little playing time. But I still believe in Cam. I haven't lost faith in him. Can't put it all on the quarterback. He missed some throws and stuff, but the guy's got to help him out, catch the ball, get open for him too. You know what I mean? And man-to-man coverage, you got to get open for a guy.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, I heard, and like I said,
he's holding the ball
a lot
too.
I didn't watch a whole lot of the game. It was kind of just on that secondary TV on the highlight pack. And
well, your Charger game was on at the same time.
And to be honest, like, I was trying to watch it, but there wasn't a whole lot of big plays or highlights, obviously, on the Red Zone channel from the Patriots. So.
There was all kinds of big plays for the 49ers.
Well, yeah, I could tell you lots about that, but I said I didn't really see anything of the Patriots.
Practice squad running back, just running, tearing New England's guts out. It was just unreal. Just beautiful.
So with that, I was going to say, like, I didn't watch much of the offense, but I was listening. I was kind of seeing around, and, like, a lot of people were saying, like, yes, you know, Tom Brady might have thought this, but, like, a lot of it's the weapons, right? N'Keal Harry can't get open in the slightest. You know, Julian Edelman.
He's not playing a lot.
He's looking like he's on the other side of 30 and, you know, not the good side, and that he's, you know, he's might be injured or whatever.
He's 34.
That's what I mean. But I mean, like, not in a good way, right? Like, he's looking,
hurt.
he's looking
tell,
his
man.
age
He doesn't in the first 2, like, unless they bring him in on 3rd downs, so you know he's hurt. You know, like, he's dragging his leg around. But, you know, you need more depth, and that's how it works. And people need to get open, and they're young at positions on offense, and this is what happens.
And they've never been good at picking receivers, so I think that's why.
No, that's a fact.
It was almost like Bill Belichick this year was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to try to grab anybody. I'm trying to grab guys. I grabbed N'Keal Harry. I grabbed this guy. I grabbed that guy. None of them work out. And, like, I don't know how this guy that is so good at everything else and every other part of his job just can't figure out the receiver end of it. Obviously, he's got a couple guys, but to be honest, most of them are, like, undrafted white boys that, like, Chris Hogan and Edelman.
Oh, you mean receiver-wise?
Yeah, for receivers that end up working out for him, right? Like, it's just odd, other than Randy Moss and I guess.
Well, like
branch
Myers, like you just said, M'Keal Harris. So he goes out hurt during the game. They bring Myers in, who's got one catch all year. All of a sudden, Myers has got like 3 or 4 catches in that game.
Yeah.
He's the guy. So just it is what it is.
Yeah.
With them, I haven't given up faith. I think I don't know. We're gonna see what we are. We got a tough game this weekend. And it's huge. It's against Buffalo.
I think you got to throw it more though. Like I remember looking up at one point.
Well, we had some really good. Like Cam had a really good game throwing it, but they need to run too to set that up. I don't know.
I remember looking at one point, and I think it was like.
I just know we've been really bad the last 2 weeks on offense.
Yeah, I think I looked at like the end of like the second quarter or something like that, or maybe it was the start of third, and Cam Newton had like 12 passes, and I was like, "You're already down, so you should be passing to try to." Like I understand. Like I've never understood the whole you get down by a touchdown, and all of a sudden you know, some of these teams just get in pass happy mode. They don't want to throw the ball.
You're afraid to run the ball.
But
which
this was like the
sense.
opposite. It was like Cam Newton is throwing the ball 12 times. Like, you know, maybe he's not fully healthy. Maybe he tweaks something and Bill's just trying to protect him or something. Like maybe there's something we don't know. But it's just very odd to see that, you know, a guy that is a former MVP and he looked pretty good at the
He looked really good the first 3 games.
You know, and then
I haven't given up on him.
Now
though.
you get this, so it's just odd. I said I want to touch on it. The defense, though, like is that, you know, obviously that's the side of the ball that you're used to.
Against the 49ers, let's be honest, the defense looked pretty good early, but when you're on the field the whole game, this is gonna happen. I don't care how many guys you rotate in and out. You're tired. If you're playing the majority of the game you're on, you're gonna get tired. So and especially like I said, the 49ers. They grinded it out. They hand the ball off. And when you're a defender and you're getting chipped here and you're banging, and when you come to the fourth quarter, you're tired. You're gassed. And that's why I always like teams that run a lot, run heavily or run often, is because I really do believe you wear the other team out when it comes to the fourth quarter. So, like, why do you think Seattle back in the day with Marshawn Lynch days, like, they were not with a young Russell Wilson? It's not like they were crazy good on offense. Their defense, they hang their hat, work their asses off, got the ball to them enough, and they just get enough done, and they grind, and they had playmakers. Don't get me wrong, people and stuff. That's not what I'm saying. Like, they had Boulder and all kinds of other players, but I'm just saying before Wilson became a stud, you know, they grinded it out and pounded the rock, which you got to respect. So
no, you do. I just said I don't think it's time for them to totally freak out yet. But
I
don't think this was the season for
2-5, Eric. And Eric, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm just gonna say, if New England shits the bed here, there's a nice little prize here. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to get past you could lose every other game and you still aren't ahead of the Jets. So there's some teams that you'd definitely be battling with in the I'm a shitty team.
I'd take Sam Darnold.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to be I think that's a whole nother.
You never know with New England. That's all I'm going to say. With Bill?
Trevor's been asking for every one of these first round draft picks that haven't worked somewhere else. He's been chiming for Josh Rosen. By the way,
I'd still love to have Rosen.
I also tried for Josh Rosen. I was on the Josh Rosen bandwagon.
He's in the right spot, man.
Yeah. Well, he's
practice squad for the Bucs. He's laughing.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I wanted to get your opinion on it. I'm not gonna lie though, it is very nice to go on social media on a Sunday or a Monday and it's silent from all these Patriots fans. You don't hear nothing.
I never say anything anyways. Never did.
Cricket.
I never did, man. I should start chirping though, because here you are with a quarterback you hated who looks like an absolute stud.
Hey, I'm just gonna put this out here.
He looks like he belongs, man. Like a super he's fun to watch.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call professional transition, because we are going to move on to the Chargers game. And that is that guy that Trevor's talking about. That is one Mr. Justin Herbert.
Former Oregon
Duck. You know, the guy that, yes, I was a little hard on coming out of college. And once again, I will say this.
You were hard on every quarterback, though, weren't you?
I try to be, right? Because you got to be...
You got to be realistic.
You got to be realistic, right? It's okay to pump these guys' tires, but when we were doing our draft rankings and our draft analysis on a lot of these guys, which I'd like to go back and listen to and kind of see one day, they're all up on YouTube, and you can go check out the old episodes if you want to see how really wrong Trevor and I were. You got to be honest about these guys, right? Yes, it's good to tell what the great things they do about, you know, what they do every week and the seasons they had and blah, blah, but at some point you also have to say, like, hey, well, what do they do wrong? Like it can't all be roses and butterflies and, perfect things here. At some point it has to be not great things. So, but yeah, so Justin Herbert, he puts up 347 yards on 43 passes, completed 27 of those, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, just played really, really
smart
well.
with the ball.
Yeah, played really smart with the ball. Was the leading rusher for the Chargers also. He put up 66 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown, 31-yard run for him at one point. So the guy was looking good. I'm excited for him. It's nice to see him doing so well. He misses the odd throw like anybody, right?
That's normal though. It's the NFL, right?
Yeah, but he's got a big arm. He'll stand right in there, take the shot.
And he's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and he's got I'm going to say, like, he's got onto a really good rapport with guys like Keenan Allen, which...
Well, he's got a great supporting cast.
The thing is, with Keenan Allen, the guy's always open, right? Like, he's one of the top... To me, I think he's the best route runner in the league. Obviously, I'm biased, but he's top 3.
No, he's definitely a good route runner. I'll give you that.
He's top 3. A lot of people kind of say even, like, some of the best...
He's sneaky quick, too.
Yeah, and he's got these little moves after the catch.
He's not a burner like he used to be, but he's still not slow.
No, exactly. So it's just little things, right? But so the Chargers, they went out, they started the game, they got behind. And I was like, are you
kidding me? Politely.
Well, like I said, they got up. They got up by a bit, right? And then it was just little stuff, right? They get up 9-0, then they get up 15, and then they get 16. So it's looking good, right? I'm getting excited. And then all of a sudden it was touchdown Jags. Okay. 2-point attempt. Okay. Then another touchdown. Okay. And then the third quarter hits. And it's another touchdown. It's a block punt. And then, it was not a day for the Chargers special teams. Let's put it that way. It's Badgley missed a kick, extra point. Badgley missed field goal from like 46, but still. And then, the punter gets blocked. They return that for a touchdown. And it was just like one of those games where it's like, are we really going to lose a game here because of stupid special teams? Like, we've dominated the game. We played really well. And we're going to lose this stupid game because of, like, special team mess ups. And Justin Herbert just didn't care. He just took one big pass to Virgil Green, which Virgil Green's now on the IR because, once again, like
that's what he does.
Some other guys, his ankle turned in a way that is not right. Gardner Minshew then goes back down, scores another touchdown, and then Herbert just answers right back. He throws this bomb out to Guyton for 70 yards. So he's got a 70-yarder to him. He's got a 71-yarder to him. And then the Chargers just kind of kept on pouring it on. The defense looked pretty good in the second half for the most part. Joey Bosa was putting some pressure. Minshew looked good, though. Like I said, he tried to do his best to get him back into it, but I think the pass rush and the corners for the Chargers just played a little better. But the run game for the Chargers did not look good, other than like Joey Bosa and a couple other guys. They looked a little better, but yeah, it was what it was. So Chargers finish up 39-29. And yeah, like I said, it was a win. It was Justin Herbert's first win.
What are you guys sitting at for record now?
We now are 2-5.
Oh, same as New England.
Yeah. So if we're going in different directions, though, at least all of our games have been close.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like that's the most.
It's not like this is the only blowout New England had, I think.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating thing about being a Chargers fan. And it's because every week, like we lost to the Saints by 3 points. We lost to the Bucks by 7 points. We lost to the Panthers by 5 points. We lost to the Chiefs by a field goal in overtime. Like those are literally all 1-score games. Literally, we are 2-5, and our 5 losses were leads that we lost or something else. Right? There's so many issues that we could have overcame.
It's a hard league, man,
and it's hard.
Those are the games you need to win. So
I know. So hopefully, this puts us in the right direction. Kind of gets the guys getting a little healthier, still not 100% back, but we're still missing half our O-line every freaking game. But yeah, wait and see what we can get out of this. So the next game, and Trevor didn't even know about this, but I just want to touch on, so is the battle of the losers, right? Almost like a loser leaves town kind of match. And it is the Detroit Lions versus the Atlanta Falcons.
And I went with Detroit in this game, didn't I?
Trevor did go with Detroit in this game.
I like where Detroit's go. Like Detroit should be so much. Like I don't know how many times I should said this, but Detroit should be so much better than what they are. They're just I don't know like Patricia's game plans or I don't know what they're doing, but like when you just look at the talent they got in the backfield and the quarterback they have and just some of the pieces they should be so much better. I don't understand. I just don't understand sometimes what they're doing, but lean on what you're good at. Like, know what you're good at and stuff and what you have. Like, playing Peterson so much and then like giving the ball to one of their talented running backs, and he has like Swift, and he has 16 carries for 132 yards just off the top of my head and 2 touchdowns or something like that. Like the first time he actually really gets any amount of carries. Are you kidding me, man? Let the guy run with the ball. I don't know. I'm not going to rant. But anyways, it's just good to see Detroit get on the in the win column again. I like Patricia, but he's got to be better. They got to be better. Period.
They got to fire that motherfucker. He is.
They need to be better.
Absolutely terrible.
Better.
But yeah,
you know who's terrible? Gase. That's terrible.
Oh
Let's be honest.
I think at this point,
but Patricia, you're not totally wrong. It's like they beat teams they shouldn't have no business beating, and then they lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. It's just not good.
He's got wins some against some terrible teams too,
but then they beat like Super Bowl teams, so it doesn't even make sense. Like,
well, that was once he beat Patriots last year, but I think every other game
he built some right off the top of my head. I can't think, but think of it. But they beat somebody else they shouldn't have beat last year as well. But whatever. But then they went down.
Yeah. So
to the shitter.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna happen when you don't have Matthew Stafford. Before we continue on with this game,
Day Junior.
To continue on before we get past this, something Trevor said, I actually think that the Jets want to keep Adam Gase for this year. Do you want to know why, Trevor?
Well, they want to get that first over. There's no sense of firing him.
No, keep him going.
There really isn't.
You're already a dog shit team. What does it matter at this point?
I watched that. I just told Eric, so today I had a late start to work because of rain. Anyways, I work construction. That doesn't matter. Let's not get into what I work with. So anyways, I have time. I taped PVR'd, not taped because we don't live in the 90s anymore. But I PVR'd the Jets and Miami game because I just wanted to. I've watched a lot of Miami this year. I like to watch the division and watch a lot of Buffalo. I don't think I've seen every game Buffalo's played this year. Man, the Jets are bad. I told Eric, even they had Flacco out there, and even if the Flacco has the ball, hits the receiver in the numbers, nobody could catch the ball for him. It's like you almost feel bad for the Jets fan until you realize they're the Jets, and I just laugh, but they're just so bad. It's ridiculous. It's just not good.
Yeah,
they need how do you? I'm pretty sure me and Eric could hit on more draft picks than what they're doing too. It's just not good all over the place.
Yeah, and I think they got
mind-boggling.
They got a new GM and stuff in there.
He's good. I think he's not the problem.
No, I think he's just gonna need time to undo all the clusterfuck that they kind of have going on there.
I couldn't agree more with you.
Like I said, the Lev Bell. We've mentioned this many times before. The Lev Bell signing never made sense. I still don't understand what he was thinking of, for the whole letting Robbie Anderson go. I know Robbie Anderson's been troubled and stuff.
He's not a number one, but he's a really good number two.
Guess what? He can catch the goddamn ball, which nobody else.
And he gets open.
Nobody else on the Jets can do that.
He does get open quite often.
But yeah, so I think at this point the Jets are just trying to tank to get the best draft pick possible. The best way to do that, and the way you kind of ensure that, is that you keep Adam Gase on that roster because he is terrible.
You kind of wish they do what other teams have done though, and deal the odd good player away, exactly what Miami did last year. And dealt so many players away and got so much draft credit. By that I mean obviously draft picks, and they just got nobody to trade away. It's just not good.
Who do you trade? Right? Do you trade Sam Darnold? Maybe, but
God,
why?
That'd be horrible, eh?
So, but they've traded they had those 3 years in a row where they drafted defensive linemen. Well, I think there's only one left. I think there's only one of those guys that's one of the Williams.
Remember when they traded Williams from LSU? Was it
from
UC or not UCLA?
Yeah,
Trojans, wasn't it? It was Trojans. No, it was Trojans.
It's Leonard Williams. They traded him over to the Giants.
To the Giants. How did that make any sense at all?
Yeah,
and he was young as hell.
So they traded him. They got Quinn Williams, and then I think there's another guy, but I think they traded the other guy too. But yeah, it's just terrible. I don't know what you do as the Jets.
I think it's comical because they're in my division and they're just garbage, complete shit.
Yeah, last year they were a little better, but yeah, this year they're just dog shit. But yeah, go back to that Detroit Falcons game. So with just over a minute left, Falcons have the ball. All they need is a field goal to win it. So they got to get this first down.
Milk the clock,
right? So they give Todd Gurley the ball at the 10-yard line, and he starts running. And all of a sudden he realizes nobody on that defensive side is trying to take him down. They're letting him score. And what does the idiot do? He starts going, and then he realizes, shit, I got to stop. But at this point, it's too late, Trevor. He's already at the 3-yard line. He can't stop. He literally fumbles himself over as he's trying to stop himself from going into the end zone.
So his momentum carried him in
literally
the end zone.
He just crosses the line. And it's the first time I've ever seen the guys on the other team, the Lions guys, were looking at the line judge and putting their arms up for touchdowns. because they were hoping that he actually crossed the line to get a touchdown.
So they got time.
Because they have time. And so, sure as shit, that's what happened. Here comes Matty Stafford. He's got a minute left, essentially. Got to go down there and score.
And he's got the weapons to do it.
Yeah, so they go all the way down. Final play, time's expiring. He gets out, almost gets sacked, kind of gets away, a little jerk, okay, and then all of a sudden finds Hawkinson, former Iowa tight end, crossing over.
They've done a good job there, right? Kind of collecting offensive talent for him.
Yeah.
Quietly.
Oh, Hawkinson's he blocks, he catches.
I'd like to see them beef that lineup a little bit, though.
Yeah, so he does a little bit of everything, so it's nice to see. But yeah, so it's the Falcons. They are just... The Falcons are kind of Falcon at this point of the year.
They're not good.
This is three heart wrenching. Like as a Chargers fan, like I said, I literally have watched terrible losses this year. Leads that we had.
But the Falcons have blown some crazy leads.
The Falcons are even worse than us.
Like the first 3 games come to mind, anyways, where they blew leads they shouldn't have blew.
Yes, and that ended up costing.
Really, the essentially season.
Yeah, well, it cost them the season. It cost the
coach's job,
head coach's job, the GM's job, a little bit of everybody, right? Everyone, nobody won in that situation.
Doesn't this doesn't this go into what you wanted to talk about?
This is what. Look at Trevor. Look at this professional transition man over here. Like it's his day job. Not quite yet.
I wish.
For this to be Trevor's day job, we got to get him a little better on the social media.
Man, if I could talk sports and get paid to do it, I'd be in La La Land.
Maybe one day, man.
It is like a dream job for a fella, but
it is.
What can I say? I can't wait for college basketball to start too. I am loving, since I started my job here at home, I'm loving that I can watch like some Saturday college again. It's just like football. It's amazing. And then, actually get to watch all the games I want to on Sunday for the most part.
I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this and you're hoping for some college basketball breakdowns and analysis, this is not the podcast for you because I will not be having that conversation with Trevor. If Trevor wants to borrow the
I watch quite a few different college teams too. I tell Eric about it all the time, and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
I don't care. I don't. Basketball in college just to me it doesn't really matter. So
it does.
So yeah, getting into what Trevor had mentioned, we're going to get into this. These are teams that are going to be looking to hit that retool button. Not quite rebuild. Maybe they should be rebuild. You can take it how you want. So we're not really going to talk about teams like the Jets because the Jets are a tire fire, right? So
it's just not good.
Yeah, we know they're not good.
They need more talent everywhere.
Yeah, so that's not a team we're going to talk about because nobody ever thought that the Jets were going to win the Super Bowl or going to even make the playoffs this year, right?
We're talking about the teams that we thought they were going to compete somewhat.
Yeah.
And that are not good at all.
That are not good at all.
Your Dallas Cowboys, your Atlanta Falcons, like we just said.
Yeah.
Who have essentially, I think their whole offensive line, I think their whole offense are number 1 picks.
Yeah, there's the big thing coming into the year was
the majority.
Every single one of their starting offensive players, whether O-line, receivers, quarterback, every single one of them, running back, they were all former first-round picks. And they are terrible. And like I said, they've lost some games that they probably shouldn't have lost. And talk about all these guys on the first round from the offensive side, not so much on the defensive side. And which obviously they said they've blown quite a few leads. Now, whether that was poor game management by the coaches or coordinators or what, it's a lot of things. But if you were at Atlanta, who would you trade and who wouldn't you trade? Would you trade a Julio Jones?
I definitely would. Julio's, been great for them for a long time, but the fact is he's hurt more than he's not now. And if somebody's going to give you a first, would you not do it right now?
Yeah, and I think
you do it right now.
And I think you'd almost get more than a first for him, right? Yes, he's got a giant contract, but he's still, when people talk about the best receiver in the league, they're talking about
he's one of them.
Julio Jones, right? You're talking about Julio Jones, Michael Thomas,
and Hopkins are my 3.
Yeah, so those are for a lot of people, those are their top 3, right? Which is a good thing to have, but he's 31, right? He's going to keep on getting older. You're dog shit. Why would you continue doing that, hoping that you can retool it for next year?
Like even Matt Ryan, I was thinking about that today. Don't ask me why, but it did pop up in my head today. And I'm thinking maybe it's time for them to totally push reset.
And that is a thing to think about, right? Like if you can get Matt Ryan out of there, he's not, once again, another guy that's not a spring chicken by any stretch of imagination. He's 35 years old now. And quarterback is a different animal from, receiver or running back or some of these positions, right? But it's still, he's not young. He carries a big cap hit, I understand. But if you can get something for him, like, why wouldn't you think about retooling? Like, you haven't been good, in the last couple years. Give your organization, like, we see this all the time in hockey. We see it in basketball. And for some reason, and we brought it up many times, the NFL just doesn't do this. Like, they just don't really tear it down. Miami was one of the first teams we've really seen it in a while, right? And then the Jaguars, they're starting to do it too.
But the best part about Miami is they kind of did that last year, and here they are after one draft, and they've got like 3 or 4 guys starting from that draft, and the guys that brought in for the depth players and stuff, to switch them off and stuff, everything's just seemed to pan out for Miami, and they're playing really good. They're 500 right now, and Fitz just lost his job, so they just handed the reins over to Tua, so we're gonna get to see him this weekend. Which is it this weekend or is it the weekend after?
This weekend.
And I'm really excited for that because I want to see what he can do. But it should be fun. But I'm just saying, like, they've done a beyond a really good job.
Yeah,
they're beyond competing. They look like a team on the verge. Like, they'd be scary in maybe in a couple of years if they continue to trend up like they are.
Yeah,
just saying that.
But like, you see these teams doing it, and I understand they weren't.
They're well coached.
They weren't.
They gotta be.
Neither one of these teams, the Jaguars kind of were, and they've kind of hit the hard reset after just going to the AFC Championship not that long ago. But
which is sad because it just kind of got it together and then it blew it out right away.
Yeah, it's terrible. But at the same time, like I said, you're talking about those the years and they starting to fully retool and really change everything. Those were years that they weren't really expected to compete again, right? They were, the Dolphins, they haven't been really relevant in quite a few years, right? Since Chad Pennington. I understand Tannehill had a couple of good years, but the last time they were really good and really you were scared about them were probably the Chad Pennington years. And then, so like Atlanta, I think is a good thing. Like I said, nice to see them. There are some guys they can trade, right? They can trade
quite a few.
The Matt Ryan. They can trade Julio Jones. I'd probably keep a Calvin Ridley. He's just.
Oh yeah, they just got him. He's only a couple of years into his career.
He's good.
Even if they cap Gurley, like pay Gurley another $10 million for another year or two, just to hand the ball off to get what I mean, like just kind of buy them time. I think
at this point, Gurley,
to find other players.
Yeah, I think at this point, Gurley, if he's getting $4 million a year, I think that's kind of what he's going to get from here on out.
I'm just saying, if you dump everybody else,
like
just he'd help the. I know he's not like I still think Gurley's far from junk. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm just saying you got to keep something. Running the ball is always a good thing when you got a young quarterback or somebody who's not that good at the position. That's all I'm saying, or below average.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another team that we were talking about is the Dallas Cowboys. And I know, Cowboy fans,
my God,
just calm down. Shane, if you're listening.
Just traded somebody today, Griffin.
Did they?
Yeah, for like a 6th or 7th round pick to, where did he go? I'm drawing a blank, but it doesn't matter. He was traded today.
He was traded. Well, they should probably look at trading a couple more guys, right?
They really should.
If you can trade Austin Cooper right now, you can trade Amari Cooper right now. Would you not think about trading Amari Cooper? Like, wouldn't that make sense? To me, that makes sense, right? You got CeeDee Lamb there. You got Gallup there.
He's like the perfect number 2 to. Actually, he's playing slot right now, technically.
But you got these 2 other guys. Are we going to pay 3 receivers all $15 million a piece?
No, but they don't have to worry about that for a bit.
I know, but why wouldn't you get something for this guy now? If you don't want to pay Dak or whatever's going to happen with that whole situation, it just feels like there's some guys out there that you could definitely hit a retool, get some. Like I said, a lot of this is.
I could see Dallas drafting a quarterback because Dallas is so unpredictable. Jerry Jones is for all you hardcore Dallas fans, he's everything that's wrong with an owner right there. He's the only owner who's the GM, and that is why you guys can't get anywhere. I hate to say that, but it's so fucking true. Like, look where Dallas is. Like, you guys Dallas fans, you guys come out, and on paper you look like a pretty freaking compelling team or somebody to be reckoned with, and you guys are just absolute garbage. Like, your defense, you can't stop nobody. Like, Dak's he's putting up these crazy numbers. You get away from Zeke all of a sudden, like you don't hand the ball off to him at all, which doesn't even make sense. You're a running team, and just because you got these new shiny toys at receiver that catch the ball like CB Lamb, steal, like that's the only one of the best decisions Jerry Jones ever made, besides when he drafted all those offensive linemen in the first round. That was smart on him too. I'll give you that credit, Jerry.
You build it through the trenches. That's how you build a team, boys.
Like seriously, their defense took like 6 steps back this year. They're just horrible. And like I said, what do you get away from the run? Like they can't. And McCarthy is their head coach. Man, I was never a fan.
They went from the clapper.
He's just
Jason
not
Garrett,
good.
and now they're over there with McCarthy, and he is like. Did everyone not remember how he wasn't a great coach in Green Bay?
He won one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. By the way, Aaron Rodgers, who is a top 5 quarterback all time.
Well, I don't know about that, but he's fucking good.
What do you mean? Look at all the stats. That's a debate for another day. But
Definitely.
at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is really freaking good.
He's an elite quarterback.
Is an elite quarterback. Still, and was through Mike McCarthy's entire tenure, and he would just screw things up. And we thought that he was garbage back then.
All those teams with not enough, like all those teams he had that didn't have not even a decent defense.
Yeah.
And now he's got a pretty good defense behind him, and now he doesn't get enough offensive weapons. It's like a fucking bad joke.
But he does have enough
I've seen it in New
offensive.
England too. You can't get away with, you can only get away with so much. Like you need to be at least so as a defense to be able to win with a great offense. And that's just a fact. The first year Peyton Manning had a pretty good defense in Indiana, they won the Super Bowl. When they got Bob, was it Bob Sanders, the safety?
Yep.
Anyways, once they got him in there, it helped big time with Dwight and Dwight Freeney, and I'm drawing a blank. Oh, and I really liked him too, the other defensive end. Mathis. What's his first name?
Robert Mathis.
Yes, Robert. You're a beauty, Robert. Oh, Reggie Wayne. I hated
Also,
the Colts, but I respected them.
If you haven't, by the way, any first-time listeners or newer listeners, you will get used to quite often Trevor going,
On a rant.
what's his name?
That too.
And then
Because I'm deep in thought. I'm like trying to power a point out there, and my wheels just don't turn, to that.
I'm gonna be honest with all you
It is
people
what it
right
is.
now. It happens even when we're not doing the podcast. So this
All
is
the time.
the deep in thought thing doesn't really count. So
But I'm able to watch my sports again all the time, so
Oh
it's
my
so
God.
good.
So another team we want to bring up is Minnesota. And with Minnesota, me and Trevor had this conversation. We understand they lost some guys, right?
Quite
you
a
lose Griffin and you lose blah blah,
Xavier
right?
Rhodes.
You lose some corners and you lose some this and that. Would you look at trading some guys on that end? I know Kirk Cousins isn't the biggest name in the world and he's looked not great at some point.
I don't think they'll trade Cousins for sure because they give him all that money to solidify that position. But
But
I just don't know
but
where
that's not
you're
your
going to
quarterback.
trade
But
guys.
that's not your
all.
quarterback of the future. You got to know at this point that the way that he plays isn't going to win you a Super Bowl.
Well, they still believe they can win now, and not to
They've
say that
got
they're
one
wrong.
win.
But I'm not going to say they're wrong. But they're not going to win this year unless they
No.
get really significant better towards the end here and make a hell of a run.
The only thing Adam Thielen's winning this year is me a fantasy football championship. So
I've got him in one league too. He's a beauty.
he is an absolute beauty.
Jefferson too, since he caught fire, it really helped.
Yeah, since they're like, hey,
Really
look,
helped
once
out.
again, like we've mentioned this many times. Hey, look, this guy's really good. Yeah, he played really good in college his entire career. Yeah, let's try to throw him the ball some. And they're like, holy crap, he can actually catch and run and do a lot of things.
Hey, does that look like Stickum on his? See the World Series sleeve? Look
No.
below it. See
No.
the brown shit?
I think that's his undershirt.
No. It was on right underneath the World Series.
I
on
don't
the
think they'd
sleeve.
be leaving some stickum just hanging out
Well,
on
it looked fishy, boy.
the. Yeah, they're just gonna use stickum on.
You see it?
I see what you're talking
Look
about.
closer. Zoom in. Damn it. See it? The light brown.
I literally think it's probably stuff. It's probably on his arm from grabbing the chalk bag off the mound, and then he probably
It
rubbed
looks more like Mounder Day.
Yeah. So, anyways, sorry, people. We were watching the World Series. We're watching Game 6 right now. But yeah, so Minnesota, like, would you look at trading somebody like, I know he's a face of a franchise and I love this guy, but would you look at trading like a Harrison Smith? Or would you look at trading like a Dalvin Cook? Or,
They're not going to trade Cook.
I know, but like these teams, you have to think, like, this isn't the team, to get better, you have to somehow get younger and better players, right? And you got to find a way to.
I just don't think Minnesota
not-
thinks that way. Like,
I know.
honestly.
But like, what would you do if you were them? Like,
I'm just trying to think of who the hell you can trade. That's
That's
all.
what I'm saying. Like, but like I said, when you're doing this,
Cook's young. They're definitely not going to trade Cook. If they traded Tannehill, not Tannehill, sorry, but if they trade, let's say, like you said,
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Who wants Kirk Cousins as a starting quarterback? Like, I'm just trying to think where is he going? I'm just trying to think of a vacancy. I just can't see where's he going to the Jets. Like, how is that an upgrade? Sam Darnold, I think.
Well, no, and I don't think
needs weapons.
I don't think the Jets are going to trade for him, but it'd be more like a middle of the road team. I think they would have had to kind of hope because there hasn't really
So
been.
you're talking like a Washington or?
I don't think Washington takes him back after.
I'd be interested to see if they go rookie quarterback again.
Yeah, do something other than Kyle Allen. But like,
I like how what's this? This was his second start, eh?
he's had a couple starts. But
Did they win this week? I didn't.
They did. They beat. We'll get into that.
Allen was the starting quarterback. I love
Yes,
it.
he
I
was.
picked him, didn't I?
Big dubs. No, we didn't pick them.
Who did they play?
They played the Giants, and for some
No.
reason, I thought I picked Washington the whole time, and apparently I picked the Giants.
The only reason I picked the Giants is because I figured Kyle wasn't playing.
Oh no. So yeah, no. This is. I know we're getting into this a little too far, but no, like I said they're another team that I'd like to see kind of get traded, or trade some guys.
Pieces off.
Yeah, like I said,
I just don't know who to trade.
in all these other sports, in basketball or whatever, if these teams are really retooling, yes, guess what? You trade your good players.
They could trade Smith away, the safety, but
Maybe you do trade an Adam Thielen, or maybe like I said, those are the guys you're gonna get the most back for, right? What does it matter if you trade the second or third corner on your team? Like, that's not what's that going to get you, a fifth or sixth? Like, if you want to really get better, and if you understand that this is not the roster you've constructed at this present time is not the one that's going to win you the championship or even get you to the playoffs consistently or whatever you want to say, then you have to make some big moves. You have to get some moves that get you back first-round picks or second-round picks or third-round picks.
It just
or
depends
multiples.
where you guys, like, where your owner and where you guys see your, like how close are you? Are you close to winning? Are you close or are you not? And if obviously we're talking to you about it like this, you're not really, I wouldn't say you're close.
And then another team that we thought that, to be honest, they're leading their division right now. And that does not say much because it's the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got to look at, you can't, and Trevor said this earlier, and which when I went to go talk about putting them on this list, he kind of said he's like, but they're leading the division. At the end of the day, I understand that if you make the dance, anybody can take the prom queen home if you make the dance, right?
And the Cowgirls are just below them right now.
Yeah, and so is Washington. The whole division is terrible.
I hate to say it, but Washington keeps winning, man. They could be the...
But at the end of the day, nobody from that division is going to win a Super Bowl this year.
Not unless a lot of teams, I don't know what the hell happens.
Yeah, if the
Dick Covert can't play.
Yeah, by the way, this is the year of 2020
Ever.
with COVID, so anything can happen. But there's just so many things. You can't get locked into these teams, getting into like, well, we're leading the division, so we can't trade anybody. Like I said, one day I hope that the NFL becomes a league where you actually see trades. And you actually see guys that actually
But it is so much harder. Just like, I know this is like, people get bored of hearing this, but to learn a system, you just can't walk in and pick up half of it after 2 weeks. So like they'll run plays that you'll know, but you know what I mean? It takes you like a year to actually know everything.
I understand that, but
so
like I said,
unless you played for the coach previously.
Yeah, and that's part of the game, right? You have to really...
That's where it's different from hockey and basketball.
Yeah, there's less... For this, it is literally every time you have to play, you have to know what you have to do on every single play. It's not so much like hockey where it's like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. You kind of got to get some chemistry with your line mates, but we'll figure it out. There's some basic stuff, right? This is the forecheck, plan that we have for this, this play, this whatever. But
and I even think, like, I'll even go so far as to say, like if you play defense, maybe you can get away with some stuff. Like, go out there. Like, if you're playing defensive line, depends what you're doing. You're going to run some stunts and stuff. You probably pick up on that quicker. But, like, offense and running back and, like, quarterback, like, those positions there, like, if it's totally different language and, you know what I mean? It's just, like, because, like, obviously, I'm just going to throw out an example, but you've seen receivers go from one place and be just a stud and go to the other place and, man, like, they're a ghost or can't even get on the field. Yeah. Like, I've seen that with Chad Johnson in New England.
I think that was at the end of his...
That's too bad. Like, but then he goes to Miami a year later and has like 3 times the production, right? So, like, I don't know. He worked hard in practice and stuff. He just couldn't learn or pick up the system. So I don't know what they're doing in New England. Maybe it's just that, But whatever. I'm just saying it's just a different beast. That's all I'm saying, people. That's all I want to say.
Yep. No.
But I totally. I get what Eric's saying. It's not as exciting for sure. I totally
and like I said, it's just some of these teams just have to take a look at themselves. And like I said, if they have to trade somebody in the off season or do something, like a reset's a reset, and you just got to get what you can. And I said, you can't think that everything you did is good. And I understand why some of these GMs don't want to do it, because if they start doing that, maybe they're saying that they screwed up.
We get fired.
But you just it's got to be, some people have to look deep inside and say, look, I messed up. I did something wrong. I'm going to redo this and wait to see what happens. I think Atlanta, that's why they might be a
And also, like
contender.
in football, like if you get that first round draft pick, let's say for that guy, you draft him, and you got to wait 2 years for him to like really show promise, or get what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
That GM might not have those 2 years.
No, and that's
Or
why.
that coach.
That's why if anyone's gonna do this, I can see it being a Philly, or not Philly, but Atlanta, because they are gonna have a new GM, they're gonna have a new coach, they're gonna have new everything. So where they have all the new pieces going into it, they're more likely to probably get in on that rather than.
And they can get some first round picks for some of the talent, especially on that offensive side.
They get some guys. So and that this one of the reasons why we talked about this too is because Trevor doesn't want to talk about it, but there was a report that came out that they're talking about maybe moving Gilmore off the Patriots, but they're listening to offers. So wait and see, people. You never know.
See it.
Hey, if you're that bad, you got to retool. Maybe this is,
that's one of our strong positions.
Bill
right?
Belichick's got to give up get more picks so he can trade up to grab Trevor Lawrence first overall.
But that's one of our strong positions.
Would you trade Gilmore for Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, every day of the week I would.
So if you could trade Gilmore for a first,
because we've got a Williams who doesn't even get on the field, and he was a second round pick a year or two ago, and he's actually a really good player. But there's just so many good players at that position for New England that he doesn't get on the field.
So would you trade, like, if you trade your first round pick right now, if you traded your first round pick right now and Gilmore for the first overall pick, say to the Jets, would you do that?
Hands down, I would.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If you do this stuff, and it's probably to move up, you'd probably have to.
You know
trade
why
for
I do
more.
that? You know why I do that though?
Why?
Honestly, because we have Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have a good enough guy.
And I just watched Trevor Lawrence again play Miami.
He was watching it this morning,
and you can tell that he wants to win. It's like
I
know that sounds really fucking stupid, people, but you can tell he wants to win, and that is, to me, that's important. If I own that franchise, doesn't matter who, the Browns, Steelers, etc., just off franchise. To me, that's one of my questions in the meeting room. How important is winning to you? Because winning is everything.
It is. And the thing with
it's everything.
Trevor Lawrence is 2 years ago, he would have been the first overall pick if he had came out. And that would have been the Kyler Murray draft year when he goes out there and he beats Bama in the big championship game. He would have been the first overall pick last year if he was able to come out. This year coming is the first year that he's actually allowed to come out finally. And it's like, yeah, guess what? We've watched him for, this is 3 straight years, and the guy is ridiculous. Like, he's a marketing machine. He's got the hair. He'll have a
the offense has changed too a lot, or some.
Yeah, so there's lots of it. So just nice to see. Getting into this though, we're gonna get into the predictions. Everyone's favorite part of the show.
Yeah, bitches.
Trevor, he beat me last week. Not gonna lie. Again. I beat him 1 week, and anyways, now it's back to.
And Dan,
he won 9-8 for predictions. It came right down to Monday Night Football. I went with the Bears because I'm an idiot. I somehow believed. For me, it was the defense. I thought the defense was going to be good enough, and the defense for the Bears was actually really good.
Sacks on my phone.
But the problem is their offense is absolutely freaking terrible.
Shitting on Nick Foles again, my buddy Nick Foles. Yeah, come on, bro.
Big Dick Nick, he's fucked. It did not look good. It's you can definitely tell there's some frustration going on there. So, but yeah, so we're talking the first game. We're gonna get right into it. It's the Colts and it's the Lions. And who do you got, Trevor?
Ooh, this is an interesting one. I want to lead towards the Colts here, but almost gut feeling is telling me to go the Detroit Lions. So give me Detroit. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling confident. I think Detroit's gonna get. What is it? Be 3 in a row, wouldn't it?
I can't remember.
Well, let's not quote that, but look, I'm gonna go with Detroit here. I'm gonna go with Matthew Stafford over your boy Phillip.
Hey, you didn't ever say a bad thing about Phillip Rivers, or I will slap you. No, I'm actually gonna go with the Colts. Everyone knows I've liked the Colts all year. I think I've probably bet on them literally every game so far since the year started, and I'm gonna stick with them. I think their defense is really good. I think their offense is really good, minus T.Y. Hilton, who has been absolute garbage. That guy's fallen off a cliff this year. I don't know how he's done it, but yeah, he's just not good. But yeah, so I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts and see what they can get out of it. So next one, I know who Trevor's picking with this one, and he's going to pick the New York Jets because they are playing against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. They're 20-point underdogs as of right now. Will probably be 23-point underdogs. by the time, kickoff. So Trevor, I'm putting you down right now for the Jets to beat the Chiefs.
Let's go Kansas City. Is Mahomes even going to dress for this game, or is Travis Kelce going to take the snaps, or what's going to go on here?
That's terrible. Like, that's going to be an absolute bloodbath. I don't know what you do at that point.
You run the ball if you're Andy Reid.
Yeah, like you run the ball. Literally, you pull the old, get the third string running back out there. Maybe you get Lev Bell a couple carries just to get him going. You only run Allaire probably like 10 times. Yeah, you get out to a big lead, and I can see by the fourth quarter, Mahomes is, sitting, and they're going to bring in whoever their backup is.
I can't even remember. I was just thinking of that. It doesn't matter. We're on to the next game. What do we got? I don't even want to talk about that Jets.
Well, this one's not much more. This one's going to be also equally disappointing for Trevor, I think.
Better than the Jets.
It's the Patriots, and they're going up to Buffalo, and I think the Patriots are about to be put through a friggin' table. So that was my guess.
What are you saying? You think Trevor Lawrence? Is that what you're thinking, boy?
I think the Patriots are going to lose this game. I think the Bills take it, and I know the Bills haven't looked the greatest in the last couple of weeks. They've obviously started off hot. They won some games, and they've still stayed in a lot of these games.
They just beat the Jets last week. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
It was 18. I got that one taped. I haven't watched it yet, but 18 something or 18-10.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was just, I think it was just a touchdown, but it doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to go with New England here. Reason being is because they haven't been too good either, Buffalo. I think they'll get up for this game and they'll give us a thrashing, but you just got to believe in the process. And here's New England's lost back-to-back or 3 games in a row. Like I said, it was the first time since 2002 this has happened. You got to remember here, Cam didn't play one of those games, and he hasn't been the same guy since COVID, since he's come back. But I'm going with them here. Like, I'm just betting on Big Bill. And these guys somewhat, they're professional athletes. They got a lot of pride. It's New England, for God's sake. So I'm going to go with them. And if they lose, as long as they give it everything they got, like, I'm fine with. Like,
at the end of the day,
it happens. You can't win you can't have every year. Like, we've been spoiled, but you got to believe in the process. I think they get it turned around here, and they win a nail biter against Buffalo.
So next game, I'm going to go with the Bills. I think that they take it over the Patriots. I think the Patriots just can't figure out what they want to do, and it's going to lead to them losing one more. I think the Bills are...
I think they can figure out what they need to do. They need to fucking execute. Yeah. Is what he's saying.
Well, maybe let Cam...
If you're going to run the ball, run the fucking ball. If you're going to throw the ball, catch the fucking ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good luck with that. Now, those receivers. The next one.
I love my receivers.
It's the Raiders, who laid a goose egg. I guess this is probably why...
Well, they lost like half their offensive line.
Maybe the NFL Network knew that what they were going to expect for that Tampa Bay game, so that's why they switched them out with the Seahawks Cardinals game, which ended up being a really good game.
Essentially, their whole offensive line was on the fucking COVID list. It was just fucked.
Hey, I'm just saying. So Tampa Bay beats up on them, destroys them last week, but they're playing against the Browns, who had a very hard time beating Joey Burrows last week, and have lost Odell Beckham Jr. to a torn hamstring for the rest of the year.
I thought it was an ACL.
Maybe torn ACL, whatever it was.
Doesn't even care, and he's coming in fantasy.
You know what? Yeah, well, this is the issue. So I literally just traded Michael Thomas in a league, and I was like,
"Cry me a river."
It's a dynasty league. I think I might trade Odell Beckham. I might put him up on the trade block, see what I can get for him. And I was like, maybe I'll do it next week. And then he tears the ACL, so I get nothing for him. I should have just pulled the trigger. I can't be second guessing.
Go with the gut.
So if it's the Raiders and the Browns, these are two of the most tortured fan bases in all of football over the last 20 years.
Last decade, we'll say.
Oh, but it's really the last 20 years. The Raiders haven't been good since like 2001.
Since New England beat them in that game.
Yep. Stupid tuck rule.
Who do you got?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get fucked on this again. I'm gonna go with the Browns again.
With the Browns.
Oh my god!
I just knew he was
gonna go.
What is
wrong with me, people? Why do I keep on doing this to myself?
Give me Gruden and the boys.
He's going with the Raiders, and
I'm gonna go with the Raiders because he went to the Browns. I wanted to pick the Browns, but I believe like I said, the Raiders, they had shitty luck, man. Like the whole offensive line basically got covered. They put them on the list. I read that somewhere. That totally blows because I couldn't even imagine. Like, it's hard enough in the NFL missing one guy, let alone your whole line. So, whatever. But it is the NFL, and they're moving on. So give me the Raiders. What the hell?
There we go.
I like it.
Next game. This is the debut game for Tua Tagovailoa. I think is that how you say his last name.
Tua.
That's why we just stick to
Let's go
Tua.
with Tua.
Yeah, that's what keep it simple, straight and simple to 3 letters. Tua is making his home debut and his NFL debut as a starting quarterback against the LA Rams, who just came off a big win on Monday night.
Why would they do that to him? The poor bastard. His first starts against
Aaron Donald.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, nothing to worry about here. You just got Aaron Donald and, Dante Fowler and
after coming back from a hip
Jalen
serious
Ramsey.
hip injury.
Yeah, just throw him out against that. But you don't think you could let like one more week of Ryan Fitzpatrick, but I guess you give him 2 weeks to prepare for it. So that was their thinking behind it. I still don't understand them making him the starter.
Who do you got, buddy?
But I'm going with the Rams. I understand maybe.
So now he's jumping on my team. See how that works, people?
Look, I'm not jumping on your team. I like the Rams.
Give me the Rams, homie.
Yeah,
I should have picked the Dolphins here.
No, you don't want to do that. Next game. So this is
The Rams have won me a lot this year.
Yeah, they have. They.
I've guessed one game wrong with the Rams. I'm trying to think of what game that was. It doesn't. Was it the 49ers? They played the 49ers and lose?
I think it was the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Next game. This is another powerhouse game. This is the Steelers. Big Ben, that crazy defense that's just been shutting everybody down. Almost let Tennessee come back into it, other than a missed field goal. But the Steelers remain as the only unbeaten team in the NFL, and they're on the road visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP of the league. And who do you got?
This is a very, very interesting game. So you got Jackson on the road here.
No, Jackson's at home.
He's at home against this big Steelers, Big
Yeah.
Ben and the boys. Every part of me wants to go with the Steelers here for some reason, but I'm definitely leaning towards the Ravens. So give me the Steelers.
You're going with the Steelers?
Going with the Steelers.
I'm also going with the Steelers. I've been burned by them too many times now.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Literally, I'm like
I feel as though the Steelers here are undefeated so far this year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
But they're still on this. This is the game they lose. One of them.
Yeah, no, it's a hard game. Obviously, Baltimore's good. Until Lamar can figure out the whole I'm going to pass things again, I think that's going to give them issues. And I think this is a really good defense. And yes, they're coming off a bye week, which is obviously good for them to kind of recuperate, get kind of guys on the same page and everything else. But yeah, I don't know. I think this defense is going to give him fits, and he's not going to be able to keep up with it.
The Ravens defense is sick too, though.
So yeah, when the Ravens win like 35-20, you can just call us idiots after it. So next game, it's the Titans and the Bengals. I'm just putting myself down for the Titans. I did like to see I did like what I saw out of the Bengals. I thought they played really well. I thought Tyler Boyd played well. Even this was without Mixon, so that's kind of nice to see. They could even kind of get the ball going, without Mixon. But the Titans, I think, were too good. I think they started off slow against the Steelers, but then they came roaring back. They were, a missed field goal away from going into overtime with the Steelers. I think the Titans are still really, really, really good. And I think they take it to the Bengals and probably beat them by 2 touchdowns. So
give me the Titans.
Keep going. We still got to watch Remember the Titans, Trevor. Just remember that.
It will happen eventually.
We are the Titans. Mighty Titans. Anyways, next game. This is a team that we were talking about earlier that we thought they should hit the retool button. It's the Vikings. They're on the road playing against Aaron Rodgers, who came out last week and was like, hey, guess what? Yeah, that 1 week I had against Tom Brady and the Bucs, yeah, that was not who I am this year. That was kind of just a bad game. And then he put up like 5 touchdowns. Devontae Adams had like 190 some yards, receiving. It was just total domination, even without Aaron Jones. Bay. Yeah, I think so too. It's these ones. Some of these are pretty easy.
I think this will be tighter than Eric's letting on. I think this is going to be I think this could be even tighter than 10 points. Like it could be a 1-score game. It's just one of those divisional games people seem to forget. Yeah, I just said, Buffalo just beat the Jets, and Buffalo is a good team. I know they got injuries, but they're still a good team. It's just divisional rivalries. This is what happens. Like you see each other twice a year, if not 3 times if 2 of you make the playoffs. It's just they know a lot of your shit, so I like it. So give me the Green Bay, but I just want to tell you people out there, just keep that in mind when you're betting and stuff on these games. Hey. If you bet, if you don't, cool.
I definitely bet, so I'll keep that in mind, Trevor. Thank you for that. We're talking about the Chargers now. They're my Chargers. They're the LA Chargers.
The LA Chargers.
Yeah, not the San Diego Chargers, but I've called them
San Diego.
I've called them 40,000 times on this podcast. But the Chargers, they're on the road. They're going up to Mile High, that high altitude, everything else, and they're going to play against that Denver Bronco team.
The Lock.
And Drew Lock, who looked decent, but yeah, they had a tough time last week.
You taking the powder blues, Eric?
Of course I'm taking the Chargers.
Taking the rookie quarterback on the fucking road?
Yes.
Give me the Chargers.
Oh, look at this. Look at him. He's a bandwagon fan over here.
Are you kidding me? They got my boy, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, it's. I think the Chargers are.
I
think they're a lot better than what they are, and if they get a little bit healthy, if they get even some offensive line back, if they get anything back, I think they're a good team. And yes, I understand that that's extremely biased. Doesn't change the fact that that's what I think. So
they're a good team.
Yeah. Well, I said literally
lots of talent anyway.
Every one of their 5 losses has been within 1 score. So what does that tell you? Next game, it's the 49ers who just put an absolute whooping
on New England.
Like literally just
kicked
bent them over. Just like
Jimmy G must have been smiling ear to ear, boy.
And Bill Belichick's like,
I would have been.
You motherfuckers! I told
my
you.
Quarterback.
I told you I wanted him over Tom. I told you this, but Tom was gonna leave.
So it goes,
I told you I wanted him. For when Tom was gone.
Tommy's making him look bad too right now.
Yeah, there's lots of bad things.
But this was gonna have to happen eventually, anyways. So
yeah. So it is
what it
49ers who are coming off a big win against the Patriots. They're playing against the Seahawks, who just lost on. Once again, I don't think
I am super pumped to see who you take in this game.
I don't think the Seahawks can play in a normal game. Like I just don't think it's possible. They have to have something. Also, did you see that DK Metcalf run from behind?
I did.
Like
that was fucking wicked, man.
That Budda Baker's a quick guy.
I didn't know Decaf was that fast though, man.
Oh yeah, like he's an absolute freak.
That's unreal.
That was his big thing coming out of college, was that he was this workout freak, this combine freak. But the problem is he only really ever ran one route, which was straight.
Yeah, the old Hail Mary.
The old
go route
down the side.
The old go route, I call it. Just go.
He doesn't have the best route running, everything else, but he's big enough.
What do you got?
I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think that
any reason to that?
So I think Russell Wilson, I think he's good. I think obviously it's odd that they lost.
I think he's MVP still right now.
Yeah, I think he's still the MVP. Even though last week I think he went three TDs, 3 interceptions. So
he's still mine though.
He came back down to earth a little bit, just like Aaron Rodgers did. Everything else.
Nobody came up to him though. You know what I mean? Nobody.
Yeah, I said Rodgers. I think is the second. I think if it's you go through it, it's still Russell Wilson.
He's got to be in the top 3. So sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you the nod there.
And then I think they just kind of rebound from a bad week. I don't see them losing 2 weeks in a row. I also don't think the 49ers are going to be able to keep up in a shootout, because I think the Seahawks are going to score points, and when they start scoring points, I don't think the 49ers can keep up with the scoring. So.
I'll break it down for you. So I just think that I'm going to go Seattle here. Reason being is I just think if they do get in a shootout like he just pointed out, I just don't think the defense is good enough. They're just too nicked up to be able to compete or keep up with Seattle. I think Seattle's got more explosive guys on the offensive side of receivers. So like DJ Metcalf, like he just talked about, Lockett comes to mind. I'm struggling with other guys there to think of for receivers.
They got a couple of guys.
But I just like their big play capability. So let's say Seattle is behind because they're running the ball on them and this, that, and the other thing. I just think that I like their chances of coming back better. So that's why I'm going to make that pick, people. And I think that the 49ers will come back down to reality a little bit after beating up on New England.
Did we mention that the 49ers beat up on New England yet?
Oh, yeah, boy.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure. I can't let the Patriots have their fall from grace, and I don't care for how long, but every Patriots fan's going to just
We're not out of it yet, bro.
They're going to be like, look, we got 6 championships, and now I can look at Trevor and say, you can't keep on talking about the 6 championships, because that's in the past now. You're going to start sounding like a Montreal fan pretty soon.
Are you kidding me?
With all your, what happened in the past. It's
the Chargers ever won one Super Bowl yet?
Listen, that's not the point. I'm also not bragging about it.
That's the point, bro.
I'm just saying, you can't be living in the past. You got to live in the present. It's what have you done for me lately, Trevor?
I'm living the dream right now, man.
And right now,
still got the best coach in the league.
The Patriots,
hands down,
have 5 losses, which nobody.
Hands down, the best coach in the league.
I wouldn't really debate that.
In Bill, I trust.
Next game, this one's a different one. This could go either way. It's the Saints and it's the Bears. I don't know if the Bears can get their act together, but what do you think?
Who's at home here?
The Bears.
Interesting. Give me the Saints, but I do think the Bears are going to get this game.
So
I think the Bears, if they were on the road, would have, I'd say, definitely the Saints. But I think them being at home, it could be, we're towards the end of October here. It could be a little bit colder game, and Drew Brees, doesn't have the arm he used to, but if they stay true to the offense, run the ball a little bit, and just get the ball out of his hands quick like they've been doing, I think they could be successful here. So
Michael Thomas might actually be back for this game. I'm not sure. I know obviously.
I'm not. Even if he's not, I'm just going with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Saints. I think the Bears.
He's just mad that he picked them last week and they lost.
That's all.
Once
again,
it is,
what have you
folks.
done for me lately? You lost me the freaking picks, predictions of week 7.
Come on, New England.
So yeah, I'm not losing because of the Bears again.
You got Eric chirping me over here. You got the same fucking record as the goddamn Chargers. Come on, boys.
I'm just saying, right now, whose roster would you rather have? The Chargers or the Patriots?
Mine.
He is so delusional, everybody.
I'm not. I just like our defense a lot better. The only thing I wish I had in your team on your defense is fucking James, but he's not even playing for you.
What about Joey Bosa?
Yeah, maybe Bosa, but
What about Melvin Ingram?
I like Ingram better than Bosa.
What about Casey Hayward? What about Desmond King?
No.
Oh my God! Listen,
I like Desmond King though.
Look at this guy.
I like our defense better. I hate fucking zone, bro.
I'm just saying the players though.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say the scheme. I said the
I
roster.
fucking hate. I can't stand your scheme.
I'm just saying. And then you get Justin Herbert or Cam Newton. Who'd you rather have?
Well, fuck. It's not my fault. I like Cam. Cam's played fucking. He's honestly played great until the COVID happened. So I'm not complaining about Cam. I know he was horrible. He was horrible last week. But honestly, if Cam threw one really bad pass last week, deep ball that he shouldn't have threw. But other than that, I was all right with his mistakes. But that was just fucking brutal. He tried to force it. But that's life.
That was not good.
They were garbage, and basically I want to say he panicked. But I'm not worried about it.
So this is another one.
Continue doing our thing.
Another team that really, 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 really shit the bed last week was the Dallas Cowboys. And they lost to the Washington no-name.
Man, that hit on the Red Rocket was bullshit, though.
That was.
Like, what the hell is that?
I think that guy should definitely be suspended. If you're going to, lay a hit on that quarterback like that, that's a suspension.
That's a little much, I thought. But
no, 100%. So the Cowboys, it could be DiNucci again. I'm not really sure. But I don't know if the Red Rocket's going to be back for that or not. But
hopefully.
Either way, it's the Cowboys, and they're on the road. They're visiting the Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz. And who do you got, Trevor?
Give me Wentz. I'm a sucker for Wentz.
Trevor is a sucker for Wentz. I'm also going with the Eagles. I like the Eagles just more than what the Cowboys are. I think the Cowboys are an absolute shit show.
I think the Cowboys will give them a run, though, if Andy Dalton's playing.
Yeah, do you want to know why? Because the Eagles also aren't good. That's the problem.
Well, they haven't played up to their potential, neither team.
And they're another team, so they're the opposite, right?
But I do believe, and I'm going to say this right now, that the Eagles are going to win this division unless Washington comes out of nowheres.
Yeah, I think the thing is the Eagles have no, and we've mentioned this every week, the Eagles have no weapons at all. There's who are you afraid of on that offense to do something?
It's another example of a quarterback that's going to hold the ball too long because nobody's open.
Nobody.
It looks like New England's offense out there.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I know it's. And then you get the Cowboys, which is the exact opposite, right? You got 3 stud receivers over there just running around, and they just can't figure anything out on the defense. So final game. So that's the Sunday night game. I think that gets flexed. I think probably the Seahawks end up playing on Sunday night again, probably, because I can't see, unless they're just like, look, the Cowboys will get us ratings, but I can't see them leaving the Cowboys and the Eagles as the Sunday nighter. Those teams are both just way too bad, but maybe they do. The Monday night game, though, this is also going to be a bloodbath. It is the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they're playing against the Giants. And I'm not even letting Trevor say this because I'm just picking. I'm going with the Buccaneers because the Giants are terrible.
Give me TB, Tom Brady, boy, all day of the week.
Trevor's crush that he doesn't have anymore.
It's all right. We got a new toy. His name's Cam.
Cam Newton. Hey, he looked really good for you for a couple weeks. And just
after it's a whole COVID thing.
Yeah, the COVID.
It's too bad.
COVID took another.
I haven't given up on him though. Like another week of practice, and our head coach and Josh McDaniels and a new game plan. Regroup. See
what you can get out of it. So that's it. Like I said, we'll see what we can get out of next week. We'll see who wins. Maybe I kind of make this a series again. Right now, Trevor I think's up 4 game.
3 for sure.
You're up 4-2, I think, is what it is. I won the first one, then I won.
Then I went on a run.
2 weeks ago. So I think, Trevor's up 4
I lost
weeks
last
to
weekend, I
2.
think.
So this is my bring it back 4 games, 4 weeks to 3. So I need this. I can't go down 5 weeks to 2. I can't. That's not possible. So
Keep your composure over there.
yeah, we'll have a couple other things that we're gonna try to work on, a couple other topics for next week. Obviously, like I said, when the other sports, like I said, hockey's our other main sport that we cover. It's in the off season. There's not a whole lot going on. You get a couple.
I have a confession now. I didn't tell you this about the New England game.
Oh my God.
So I did yell at the TV. So I want to think, was it the brutal intercept? Like I can't remember if it was when he forced the ball deep, but I want to say it was there were some choice words that came out of my mouth where I was absolutely yelling at the TV, like some bad words. But anyways, I just wanted to say it did happen. It happens once in a while. I'm a passionate guy. It's not his fault. A whole offense.
This is great. I love Trevor's pretty good. Like I've watched Trevor.
And I've I don't know if I knew Eric then, but when the Giants beat New England the first time, so when we were undefeated 2007, I think.
I knew Trevor, but we didn't hang out constantly like we do now.
But I predicted it because my father likes to chirp me. He likes the Giants. No, that's what I'm talking about. But anyways, but the Giants they moved a couple or 2 defensive ends basically in the tackle positions, and they were just, nobody could block anything they're doing. They're just in the backfield, one of them all the time. And I just said to some of my friends that, that's not good for New England. Like I know they don't get the ball out quick like they did afterwards when they changed their offense, but it was more of deep routes with Randy Moss, and Wes Welker was more not running 5 or 10 yards. He was running 15, kind of like just a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Tommy had to hold the ball. And just Osamine Miura and Strahan and was it Tuck? Oh, Tuck just had a field day.
Yeah,
just unreal.
The last time I think I really saw Trevor,
I wasn't happy
angry, with that. And I've watched a lot of football.
I was pretty chill with those losses too.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good. The one and he was actually even pretty good with this one, but it's one I just always remember. Trevor and I were both working out west. We were both out in Dawson Creek, British Columbia, in what we used to call one of the crew houses, and we're downstairs in the basement watching the game, and it was the game where the Patriots lost 44-14.
That was Kansas City, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Kansas City back when it was Alex Smith.
That came to me towards the end of it.
And that was the game where they're like, Tom Brady, ladies and gentlemen,
washed out.
He's washed. He's terrible. He's done.
That was one of the times I did that.
And Trevor was not happy. He was not happy with the performance, but he was always pretty good. Like I said, I've watched Trevor, a lot of football, Trevor, and
I'm all about compete.
Yeah.
Like I firmly believe sometimes they're just gonna have a better scheme. You won't be able to figure it out, or you'll do adjustments thinking you've got it and you don't, or they'll make adjustments to your adjustments and it just doesn't work out for you and you get spanked. Sometimes that's the best thing that can happen to a team is you get spanked. You regain your composure, come back down to earth a little bit, and then go back to work and get her done. I'm a true believer in that. A lot of teams that go undefeated in the regular season, it doesn't happen much in the NFL, but let's just say college and stuff. I firmly believe you learn a lot from a loss. It humbles you, brings you back down to earth. You're more willing to put the work back in. Maybe you slack a little bit, which you shouldn't, but, we're human. So I don't know. But, maybe this is what New England needed. We don't have Tom, so I know that. I know that no offense is perfect, but we should look to get a little more guys involved. I like to see it throw some different numbers out there. Like one of our rookie tight ends had a catch. I thought that was pretty cool. I'll throw that in. He's wearing, what's cool too? He's wearing 44.
Oh my God, the old tight
ends. Is that
ends.
Dallas Clark's number?
That would be a Dallas Clark number.
I'm pretty sure he was 44.
We always get those are the guys that it's like the guys.
He's like a halfback too, or whatever you call that, or H-back.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. You see it in hockey too. They're just guys that hit the practice squad. They probably didn't know if they were going to make it. They were running out of numbers, so they're like, screw it, I'll wear this. I think that was Ryan Reeves. They were like, why do you wear number 75? And he's like, because I was a pigeon and they threw it on me when I walked up to training camp, and I took it, and I've wore it ever since. He's like, I didn't have a reason for it. They're just like, hey, there's 40 guys or 50 guys here that are all trying to make the team. You're one of them. Here's number 75. And he's like, I took it. So it's it is what it is, but it's be nice to see. Like I said, like Trevor said, it's just to compete, right? That's the same thing
That's huge for me.
As a Chargers fan, I've had a lot to root for this year.
That's why I think Stidham went in. Belichick wanted to see what he could do, get him some game time, just see if he improved from his last time, because he got in, took over for Hoyer, as we know, in that game, and where we were really a couple of Hoyer mistakes from really. I think like I've said twice on both podcasts, I firmly believe we have Cam Newton, we would have won that game.
Yeah, and with Cam Newton too, I think Bill's probably sending him a little message, just a slight one, right? Saying like, look, you're our quarterback. We want you to be our quarterback. But if you continue to play like this, changes will be made, right? We will get rid of, we will put somebody else in there. We're not just going to let you keep on playing and,
they didn't really do anything.
Play poorly. And, if that's going to continue, we will move you. We will put somebody else in there. And so up your game and kind of maybe give him a little
shot in the leg.
A kick in the arse, whatever you want to say. So yeah, wait and see. I said, as a Chargers fan,
I just want, like I said, just compete. I understand you're not going to win everything and all that, but just give me an effort out there, right? That's all I want to say.
And that's the thing I like.
As a fan, right?
As a Chargers fan, like I said, I've watched them literally lose every game. Over the last 2 seasons now, I have watched them lose 14 games so far.
It sucks, man. But
by one score. One score. So I've had a lot to be like, your emotions go up and down, blah, blah. Oh, can they win it? Can they come back? Can they do this? No. So I said, you just want to see them compete, though. At least they were in the games and gave themselves a chance. All that matters is the W, though. It doesn't matter if you lose by 1 point or you lose by 30. But like you said, it's nice to see the compete. So
for sure.
Anyway, so I'm gonna let Trevor get out of here. I'm gonna let him hit the hay. He's got another early day. He's gonna say another early day tomorrow. And I got to start editing this podcast because it's going to take me the next 2-3 hours of my life. So
at least you get the World Series to watch, boy.
Yep. So anyways, thank you all for listening. And as always, hope to hear you next time. If you haven't yet, check us out on Facebook, Instagram.
Give us a like, comment.
Yeah. Subscribe on everything.
Negative, positive.
Yeah. There's everything. There's Google Podcasts. There's Spotify. There's Apple Podcasts or iTunes. Lots of places to kind of check us out.
Share your friends. Tell your friends about us.
Yeah,
average Joe's, boy, just living the dream.
Yeah, we're just here to talk sports. And if you guys have any suggestions for topics, you can even email us that. It's fromthebenchinfo@gmail.com. Trevor didn't even know that.
Didn't.
Learn something new every day.
Nudie Magazine Day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So anyways, I just want to throw that in. I was supposed to talk about that at the start of the episode, and I forgot to. But yeah, if you're still listening, thank you very much. And talk to you guys later.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Bye, guys.